Your consciousness is sent back to when you were at age 15, and you maintain all of your current knowledge and experience. What do you do? Honestly, just the knowledge that lots of the shit 15-year-old me was agonizing over and worrying about ultimately didn't bring about the end of the world would help. I'd know which things to stress about and which ones I could let go of. Just know that eventually everyone's face is a blurred memory. I was in my freshman year of high school. I'd go back and relive those years being completely and totally myself like I should have done way back when. If I could go back to high school as a 15-year-old while retaining the level of age that I have achieved now at 45, that would be magical. I would rule that school. It's hard to live like yourself when you are still finding it. It takes those awkward years to fully grasp who you are and is an important step to self-realization. You should be that unsure when you are that age. Buy up domain names and sell them after internet gets more mainstream. I remember reading that .com sold to Facebook for about $7 million. Not bad. You and me both. I call Sony.com. Take better care of my teeth. 1,000,000 times yes. Knowing about acid erosion as well as tooth decay would save a lot of future pain and dentist bills. Don't date my first girlfriend. Try to maintain friendships while moving. Take college more seriously. Buy Bitcoin. Hug my grandparents more often. I have a friend that has a weekly call to his grandparents and I do that. Whenever I read comments like this, I'm always terrified to be the girl guys regret dating, like I have good intentions but I'm useless lol. Be single and lonely for a while. Holy shit, do I not want anything to do with most high schoolers. Yeah, a lot of people have remarked on the creep factor of being an adult in a kid's body dating kids, and that's 100% true. But even aside from that, I just can't imagine remotely wanting to even be with somebody who looks or acts 15, or even 18 after waiting a few years into the hypothetical. Focus on high school a bit better, try and keep in touch with my best friend at that time a bit better after she moved across town, talk with my dad more about family and stuff, apologize for being a little shit in middle school more. Figure out my major a lot faster. I'd actually focus less. I was the kid that broke myself just for a small edge into college. I really could have been more well-rounded person, with less breakdown levels of stress. Well, knowing me, I don't make the stupid choices I made for the past 31 years. But also knowing me, I would make totally different stupid choices. Because I'm human. Just because I could now avoid the traps I had fallen into back then, this does not mean I would not fall into different traps. But hopefully the sum total would be a better life. I know there are career changes I would make. There are financial decisions I would do a better job with. For instance, on the day I graduated college, Apple stock sold for 15 cents a share. If I had bought $5,000 worth of Apple stock that day, I could sell that today for $4.6 million. So there's that. Best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Second best time is today. I go straight to the cops and report my father for abuse. I made the exact same comment. My father murdered the rest of my family that year. I could have stopped it if I had reported the violence. I am hugging my grandfather for a solid 5 minutes. My grandmother passed away today. I didn't spend enough time with her. I feel like I don't really know her. I don't know how to deal with this feeling. Try to convince my dad to short airline stocks in about a year. Gamble a lot on sports. I'm going to guess it's generational, but I like how for some the answer is buy Bitcoin and others, like this, are gamble on sports, and I think the difference is whether you've seen Back to the Future or not. I take my little brother to the hospital because he has a tumor that no one knows about. I tell my dad that he shouldn't sell his company because we end up homeless. I buy Bitcoin. I live with my family and appreciate them. I go to an IHOP many years later and find the waitress. I ask her on a date. Hopefully I can keep both my families this time. Sorry to hear about your life, hope it's all going better for you now. Saying that, the way you typed this made me read it in Dr. Manhattan's voice from Watchmen. 1. Good dental hygiene, floss, brush twice a day always. 2. Make exercise a part of the day. It is harder to get this into routine as you get older. Plus the fitter you are when you're younger, the more it will tide you through when older. 3. Continue pursuing things that I find interesting, even if I'm not, and will never get good at them. It is wonderful to have things to enjoy for the sake of it. 4. Be nicer to my parents, especially my mom. It is a lot of responsibility, and they did their best. 5. Take feedback and criticism in stride, and not let every negative thing make me question everything. Warn my grandma that she has cancer that will kill her in 9 years because they caught it too late. I think about this and my mom's cancer, but then I wonder what would the other paths be. Would she die sooner? Much later? More painfully? Without me having a chance to say goodbye. I'd want to tweak a few things. Hit the pricks who messed with me. Kiss the girl when I should've. Spent more time with my old man. Little things. I'd live in existential dread that somehow, somewhere I'd mess something up in the chain of events that led to me meeting my wife and the subsequent birth of my children. Life without my children would destroy me. Utterly. Everyone saying what they'd do better while I'd be having a total mental breakdown. Can you imagine going back to living with your parents? Waking up at 6 a.m. to get a bus to be in class at 8 a.m. Taking exams again. Having to study all over again? I have nightmares about this. Please no, I'd rather stay an adult please. You'd probably be a complete weirdo too. Everyone else is 15 while you're much older mentally and you know what's gonna happen and you treat people you shouldn't know weird because you actually do know them. Same. I only had the energy to get through the education system once, I can't do it again. Stop my brother from killing himself. I am so sorry, sparkling heart, hugs to you. I am so sorry for your loss. Hope you are doing/coping better. I know your pain. My best friend killed himself a year ago yesterday. It was such a surprise and I'm still recovering from it. I could only imagine what it was like to lose your brother. I hope you're taking care of yourself. All the fun of these hypotheticals vanished the moment my daughter was born. I know that realistically I'd never be able to recreate the exact circumstances to have the same child, but I'd have to put everything I have into trying. Doing otherwise is unimaginable. It would be years and years of stress and planning and dread knowing that I'm essentially doomed to fail at the only thing that matters, the one thing I'm trying desperately to achieve. Along with the constant feeling that I'm being an idiot to pour myself into something that will never work, and the guilt of even contemplating giving up. And there's basically no good ending. Eventually I either have a child who's clearly not her and try desperately not to burden them with my grief, or I have a child who might be her and I spend the rest of my life struggling to deal with thoughts of is it really her? Without my preoccupation messing her up, or I give up and live feeling like I abandoned my daughter and erased her from existence. And God, my poor wife in all of this. Basically, what if you got to redo your life? Used to be a fun thought experiment. Then I met the love of my life and adopted a couple cats and it got more emotionally complicated. Then I had a perfect baby girl and imagining this scenario became like imagining hell. Lose fat, start lifting weights and running, play less video games, sleep more. Nah, but for real, can you imagine how much more progress we would have if we started our fitness journey years earlier? I know it's bad to dwell on these things but I can't help but imagine what if. 15-year-old me definitely needed to hear what a calorie deficit was. And you're staying on top of that right now, right? Face with monocle. Watch my dad die all over again I guess, since by my 15th birthday it was already too late to treat his cancer. Miss my kids, knowing they'll never exist. Buy some Bitcoin, I guess, and overdose on cocaine on the yacht that I keep in the pool of my other yacht. Having kids turns this kind of question from a fun thought experiment to a horrifying one. This is weirdly the most realistic answer.